Hello everybody, Ryker Richard here, the Raptors Digest, with a very special podcast today. We are calling in to everybody that wanted to have a reaction, wanted to be on the podcast to celebrate what really went down Game 7, 76ers versus the Toronto Raptors as one of the greatest shots possibly in NBA history, the only buzzer-beater Game 7 win in NBA playoff history, a career-defining moment for Kawhi Leonard, a legacy-defining moment for Kawhi Leonard. It united all basketball fans. Everybody is talking about it, and not only that, it sort of transcended the nation and really brought people from all around the world closer together. It's incredible the amount of attention that we've gotten on Instagram from different countries, places you wouldn't expect. Everybody just showing love for the Toronto Raptors. So I don't know how this is going to go. I'm going to try to do it as efficiently as possible. Everybody that's on the podcast, I will ask them a different question related to the Raptors to keep it interesting. They'll get like 30 seconds to a minute maximum, and we're just going to try to rattle off as many people as possible. If it goes over well, there's a lot of people that we couldn't get on tonight. If it goes over well, then maybe we'll do something like this again. But I love the support and everything. It's really the community that makes doing this so much fun. And everybody also sent in their compilation videos. So that'll either happen concurrently in the background, or I'll make a completely new video of it, or it'll be at the end. I'm not sure. Hopefully you like this. Hopefully this goes well. I wish I had a 3-man team here doing this tonight, but I'll try my best. And I'm really excited to hear what everybody has to say. Hey, caller number 1. It's Ryker from the Raptors Digest. Hit us with your name and where you're living right now.
Hey guys, my name is Vim. I'm from Toronto, but right now I'm in Ottawa because I go to school at Carleton.
Awesome, man. All right. I got like 30 callers that I'm calling in tonight. I'm trying to get everybody to give one reaction or one hot take. You got the first question, the biggest one, the theme of tonight, obviously, the huge game winner, one of the biggest moments in Raptors history. What was your reaction to watching it live? I hope you were watching it live.
Yeah, I was watching it live. The first thing that went through my head was, God must be real. Because I was actually praying right before that final possession, right after the timeout. I knew they were going to go to Kawhi. I mean, he made a couple throughout the year. He missed a couple throughout the year, game winners, that is. And, you know, I thought to myself, if one man could do it in Raptors history, it had to be him. And, you know, it bounced 4 or 5 times, finally went in, and that's when I started getting noise complaints from my neighbors.
That's it.
Because I was yelling too loud.
It was like a movie. So is it Vin or Vim?
Vim, V-I-M.
Vim, I wish I could talk to you longer, but like I said, a lot of calls to go through. I'd love to do this again and get more people on the podcast, but that's hot take number 1, man. Thanks for calling in.
Yeah, thanks a lot for having me, man.
Cheers.
Appreciate it. Love the...
My name is Julio, and I live in Boston.
Julio in Boston?
Yeah.
Am I calling a Celtics fan right now?
Never.
What? Surely you are the minority in Boston, being a Toronto Raptors fan.
I am.
All right, well, that is the question. Everybody's getting about 30 seconds here. I have a lot of phone calls to make, but this is your question, obviously. Why are you a Toronto Raptors fan and not a Boston Celtics fan?
I'm a true Canadian. I've always been a Raptors fan since I was born.
Okay.
And I don't know, I can't be a Celtics fan.
What did this season mean to you?
This season means a lot. I really hope that we win it all. I think that we need a win for Kawhi. I think for the season and the city, we need a win.
Do you take a lot of heat in Boston being a Raptors fan? Do you express your yeah? Oh man.
Oh yeah.
I would love to see
tough.
It. Yeah, that's great. But you know what? There's support for the Raptors around the world, in the States as well. It's hilarious. I'm sure that there's a lot of rivalries, but it's all fun. But man, what was your name again? Julio. Like I said, only about 30 seconds per person. Thank you so much for being on the call. And if there's another possibility to get you on, then we'll do that, man. Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you.
Hey, Ryker. This is Ricky and Anmal. We are from Toronto, but we're currently in Waterloo. We study at the University of Waterloo.
Oh, it's Amal, the man.
Yeah, hey, how's it going?
It is going well. All right. It's a pleasure to have you on the podcast. We have about 30 callers, it seems, so we're giving everybody about 30 to 45 seconds. Your take here is Raptors or Bucks in how many games? You got about 30 seconds to give your hottest opinion on that.
All right, so I'm going to go first. My buddy's going to go second.
Sure.
I think, honestly, I'm a huge Raptors fan. I think it's going to be Bucks in 6.
Oh my God! Whoa! What? Pause! Slow. I'm drowning you out. Bucks?
I think they're very overwhelming in terms of the way they play. Like Greenholzer's got them playing really well. Like their driving kick style is it's really hard to stop when you have Giannis at the head.
Good sir, are you a Milwaukee Bucks fan?
Absolutely not, Ryker. I'm the biggest Raptors fan you will ever find. Here's Rick's first thing. Here.
All right, I'm saying Raptors in 7.
Thank you.
I just think that we match up a little bit better, and the players like. Sorry, you put me on the spot here.
You know what? It is. No, it's a lot to take in to be on a podcast, but the thing is, the Raptors, there's preferable matchups. You got to put your friend in line. I don't know about that take, pinning the Bucks.
Okay, but Ryker, hear me out here. You're usually the more logical. I'd say you and Ben are kind of different personalities on the podcast. I'd say you're usually the more realistic person.
Yeah, we do that intentionally.
Pushing Milwaukee to 7 and winning?
Yeah, we match up better.
No, listen, I've consistently said throughout the season that the 76ers are the worst matchup for the Toronto Raptors in the playoffs because of how lopsided them. I think that the series will actually be much more in the favor of the Raptors against the Bucks than it would have been in this series, which we obviously triumphed. Although, was it that deserving?
Here's my issue with that is that the Raptors, the way we play, I agree with you. We matched up pretty terribly against the Sixers, but the way we played against the Sixers, if that carries forward into this Bucks series, there's absolutely no chance. But I know that we have the potential to actually win the series. I just don't. I can't see everybody turning it on for like the entire series. That's my only concern.
Huge hot take here. I'm giving you guys about 2 minutes of airtime, but I love it. I love this sort of passion. But boys, I got to continue on to the next callers. Thank you so much for calling in, and much appreciated. Cheers.
Thank you, man. We enjoy it. Thank you.
Hey, it's Ryker from the Raptors Digest, man. You're caller number 2. What's your name and where are you living?
Hey, I'm Eric Manzini, and I'm from Thunder Bay, Ontario.
Thunder Bay, Ontario. All right, so I'm going through like about 30 calls really quick. One question, all right? Obviously, you watch the game. One of the biggest things, I'm doing a different question for everybody. My question to you is, who is your favorite big man on the Toronto Raptors, and what kind of impact are they going to have now against the Bucks? Because obviously, we have to turn our heads to the next matchup.
Are we considering Pascal Siakam a big man?
Yep, Pascal Siakam's included.
Okay. Pascal, what we can expect. I expect him to be guarding Giannis the next series, at least to start. I'm sure Kawhi will get looks at it. I expect him to actually do a decent job on Giannis, make it tough with his length and moving his feet. Sure, he might. Giannis is still going to probably put up good numbers, but I think he's going to make it at least difficult for him to go off on us, which I think will be big because I think Kawhi is going to get the best of Middleton on the other end.
That is a hot take right there, that Pascal Siakam will be defending Giannis Antetokounmpo. And not only that, you're saying he's going to contain him. I'm in the same boat as you. I think the Bucks are a preferable matchup. But was it Eric?
Yes.
Eric from Thunder Bay. Thank you for being on the podcast. I wish it could be longer, but I'm rattling through everybody, man. So everybody's getting one hot take. I love it, man. And maybe we'll do this again.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, cheers. What's your name and where are you living?
My name's Jeffrey. I'm living in Toronto.
Jeffrey?
Yeah.
Jeffrey. All right, man. You got about 30 seconds. We're going through a bunch of people. Your question is, were you a Raptors fan before this season started?
Yes, I've been a Raptors fan since 2 seasons ago.
What did this season mean to you more than any of the 2 seasons before that you were a Toronto Raptors fan?
Last shot, man. If we don't get this season, it's probably going to be a rebuild.
You think so?
Do or die.
So you would be disappointed if the Raptors lose against the Milwaukee Bucks?
Not really. I mean, I treat the Bucks game as more like the actual finals game than if we were to actually move on to the Golden State.
That is fair enough. And what do you think? Who's going to win?
It's a tough choice, man. I think we might have a 50-50 chance of winning. We got to fight hard and contain Giannis. If we can't do that, then we don't deserve to win.
All right. You heard it here first. Like I said, we're doing quick takes here. Thank you so much for being on the line. And if there's an opportunity to have this kind of thing again, maybe a longer period of time, I will let you know, man. Thanks for being on the line.
For sure, man.
Cheers.
Thanks a lot.
I'm Jeffrey, and I live in Vancouver.
In Vancouver, out on the West Coast. Yeah. All right, we're giving everybody about 30 seconds here. Got a lot of calls to go through. This is my question to you. Your time for a hot take. Is Kawhi Leonard the first ever legend that the Toronto Raptors have had? We've obviously had some greats, Vince Carter, DeMar DeRozan. Will you say that this season has been enough to put Kawhi Leonard as in the legend status?
Yes, I think that. I think that he's he's very good.
Would you say that he's your favorite player? Oh, lost connection. I do apologize to my man. Sometimes it happens. We've got to move along to the next caller, though. There's a lot of people. I'm sure that Kawhi Leonard probably is his favorite player. If not, he would have agreed wholeheartedly that Kawhi Leonard is achievable in the legend status for the Toronto Raptors. But moving along to the next.
So my name is Dick Shaw, and I live in a pretty big city. I wouldn't say it's pretty big, but a city called Sunnyvale in California.
In California, did you follow Kawhi Leonard from the San Antonio Spurs up to the Toronto Raptors, or are you just a fan of the Toronto Raptors from earlier?
No, I've been a fan since, I want to say, 2015, 14.
For what reason?
Somewhere around then. Okay, so there's multiple. Okay, so there's I want to say two main reasons. But so I got into basketball in 2014, 15, and that was when the Warriors first started winning. So I didn't want to just bandwagon my local team because they're winning.
Okay.
So I was playing NBA 2K, and I made 3 different my players, and they all went to the Raptors. And that's kind of a dumb way to get attached, but I don't know. That's how I got familiar with all the players, and then since then it was just that's pretty much it.
All right, you got about 30 seconds to answer, and I got to go to the next person. If Kawhi Leonard leaves in the free agency, right? Would we still retire his jersey?
Oh, that's tough. Honestly, I would. I say we would, because he's had the best moment, in the best Raptors moment in the history of the entire franchise. So that's tough. I don't think he's done enough in one season, but because of that moment, I say we should.
We should? I think so. I think he probably asserted his legacy as, if not the best Raptor of all time, certainly he achieved the most in one season. But you're right. It's a lot to be said. Do you think the Raptors will move on to the finals? Last question.
Yes, I do, because I think the Bucks are less of a matchup than the 76ers were.
Love to hear.
They were more fit to face the Raptors.
Yeah, I echo the same thing. All right, we got a fan. What's your name again, sorry?
Dick Shawn.
All the way from California, and still a fan of the Toronto Raptors. Love having you on the podcast, man. Thank you for your takes.
Thank you.
Cheers.
I'm Garish Manuel, and I'm from Winnipeg, Manitoba.
Garish from Winnipeg.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, we're giving everybody about 30 seconds. It's really hot takes. My question for you is, what can the Raptors do? Okay, no, I got a better question. If you were Nick Nurse, okay, moving into this Milwaukee Bucks series, what adjustments are you making?
Oh, man. You know what? I almost feel like they're doing everything they can right now. The thing that they're really missing is confidence. I mean, I see the team just passing the ball until it gets to Kawhi, and I just want to see Gasol make more shots. Ibaka's actually not doing too bad, but I just think inspiring them is probably the main thing. I'd love to see them just shoot with more confidence and maybe not lean it so much on Kawhi. I mean, it worked this time, but just barely. All
right, so that's what you would like. That's what you would do if you were Nick Nurse. Now, will Nick Nurse do exactly that?
I don't know. I'm really intrigued for Wednesday and seeing what Milwaukee will have to bring.
Me too.
I don't know what that clash is going to be like. I really want to see what Giannis is going to come out with, and how powerful and how impactful he's going to be against the Raptors. I think it won't be as tough as some might think this battle will be. So,
no, I've been saying it all along. It's a much more preferable matchup for the Bucks, but I got to move along to the next caller. Garish from Winnipeg, thank you so much for calling in, my man, and offering that Nick Nurse hot take. Cheers.
Take care. My name's Noah, and I'm from Sudbury, Ontario.
Noah from Sudbury, Ontario. All right, we're giving everybody about 30 seconds per podcast. People are going to be sick of listening to this if they're listening to the YouTube. Obviously, I keep saying this as the introduction, but here I'm giving you a chance for a hot take. Besides Giannis Antetokounmpo, who is the biggest threat on the Milwaukee Bucks?
I think the biggest threat on the Milwaukee Bucks is probably Nikola Mirotic.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
He's like lethal. He doesn't miss.
And will the Raptors be able to contain him, or is he going to become the new Raptors killer?
I think they'll be able to contain him, but for a few games he'll be a threat.
All right, what's your take on the series then? The Raptors advancing, or are they going to perish?
Raps in 6.
I love that take, man. All right, what's your name one more time?
Noah?
Noah from Sudbury?
Yeah.
Thanks for being on the line, man. I'm moving on to the next caller, but it was a pleasure having you.
Yeah, no problem.
Cheers. I do apologize for the audio of that one there. It seemed like my voice reflected out of the speakerphone. I need a better system for this, clearly. Like I said, I'd like a 3-man team doing this, but we'll move along to the next one here. Give you the full spiel here on how it goes along. It's a very choppy process. I have no idea who I'm calling each time, funny enough. Hello?
Hello?
Hey, it's Ryker from the Raptors Digest. What's your name and where are you living?
Hey, how's it going, man? It's Ali from Toronto.
Ali from Toronto? All right.
Yeah.
Hot take. You don't have much time on the podcast. We got a lot of callers to go through. I love the passion here. I'm going to ask you, what would win a championship between 1, the best defense and no 3-point shooting, right? Basically what the Raptors are displaying now, or 2, the best 3-point shooting and no defense?
The defense. You don't need 3-point shooters. You need the defense.
All right. Are the Raptors moving on past the Bucks?
Yes, they are.
Are they going to beat the Golden State Warriors?
Yes, they are.
All right, man. Do you have anything that you want to say off the top of your head? That was a pretty quick one. I'll give you about 30 seconds if you have anything you want to say.
My comment of the day goes to Joel Embiid's crying last night. I want to tell him, you can cry me a river, but I want to say, gotta Kawhi me a river, bro. Kawhi me a river.
I love that so much, man. That's a good one. There's a lot of play on words with Kawhi's name. I'm so excited for this next series, though. I'm sure you are as well. And what's your name one more time? Ali, thank you for being on the podcast, man. Going on to the next caller.
Appreciate it, man.
Cheers.
Cheers, man. Bye.
I'm Race Kalesa, and I'm from Medicine Hat, Alberta.
Alberta. All right, we're giving everybody quick takes. We got a lot of calls to go through. Your question here is, if you could say one thing to Kawhi Leonard in person, one thing and one thing only, what would it be? This is immediately following last night's game.
Greatest shot of all time.
That's all you would say to him?
Yep, greatest shot of all time, no cap.
That's awesome, man. What was your reaction watching that shot last night? Obviously, it's a legacy-defining shot.
Well, he was driving into the corner, Ben Simmons on him, then Joel Embiid switched to him, and I'm watching on the edge of my seat, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be such a bad shot. He shoots it, it hits the front of the rim. I turn around like, fuck, and then sorry, I didn't mean to swear.
Keep going. It's all good.
And then I look back. It bounced a second time, and I'm like, oh wait, maybe. Bounces a third time and goes in. Freak out.
It was truly like a movie, right?
Yeah, it was a movie. It was like from Space Jam type. It was crazy.
That's true. Maybe Kawhi Leonard will be in Space Jam 3 after LeBron James's flop of Space Jam 2. All right, last take now before I leave. Just Bucks or Raptors, simply.
I have Raptors in 5.
Raptors in 5. I love it, man. That's perfect.
I have 30. No, I have $100 on it.
So. $100. My God.
Yeah.
I think you'll get your $100. Maybe not in the 5 games. Definitely in 6 if it goes that far. But thank you so much for being on the pod.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Course.
Hi. Yeah. Can you just give me a moment to I'm just connecting my mic. Give me a moment. Sorry
sure thing.
That.
I'll just ramble on for a second while you're plugging in the setup. Actually, you know what? It's hard to think on it.
Yeah.
You there? Perfect. What's your name and where are you living?
Yeah. I'm with Lala. I'm in Toronto. I'm 22. And
don't need the age, but I love it. All right, so it's going to be really quick. We have a lot of callers to still go through. We were about 10 or 15 in now, so I got 1 or 2 questions for you. 1.
For sure.
What will you do if the Toronto Raptors move to the finals? What will you do?
I don't know. If we go to the finals, I'm going to game 1, and we're going to win game 1. If we don't win game 1, we're going to win game 1 if we go to the finals.
All right. But that's okay.
That's all I'm saying. Yeah.
But what would you do? What would your reaction be if the Toronto Raptors actually won the entire NBA Finals? That's the hot take that I want to hear. What is your reaction?
My reaction is Kawhi is staying. He might. He's staying for sure if we win the finals. But if we do win the finals, knock on wood, he's gonna probably sign for cheap.
He's gonna sign for cheap? Nah, we'd still gotta give him the max contract. But what would you hear?
He's gonna take a pay cut.
No.
And if he takes a pay cut, then yeah. But don't know what I would do honestly. Like that's.
Yeah, it's still out there. We got to get past the Bucks series, but this is one of the hotter takes that we've heard so far. Kawhi Leonard, if the Raptors won the championship, would take a pay cut to stay in Toronto. All the speculation of him maybe going somewhere else. Now he would want to stay so bad that he would take less money than what he is deserved. That is a hot take and a half right there.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But I got a lot of calls to make, man. Thank you so much for being on the pod, and
for sure.
It's good hearing from you. Cheers.
Yeah. Cheers.
Whew, we're winding down now, about 4 callers left. Got to cut some people too. Some people aren't getting the call. Hello?
Hello?
Hey, it's Ryker from the Raptors Digest. What's your name and where are you living?
My name's Adisa. I'm in Toronto right now.
In Toronto? All right, we're giving everybody a quick hot take. We had a lot of calls, and we're getting a lot of hot takes. I'll tell you that for sure. All right, if you could describe... This one's... Okay, I'm going to give you 2 because this one is a joke of a question. But if you could describe last night's shot in a song, what song would it be?
That's a good one. I'd say, what's that Drake song? Keep On, We're Going Home or whatever? Hold On, We're Going Home?
Just Hold On, We're Going Home.
I'd say it's that one.
But usually, if you say you're going home, then that's usually if you lose the series. But it was certainly such a glorious moment to happen the way that it did. How did it feel? You were watching the game live?
Yeah, no, I was watching it live. I was.
What was your thoughts when Kawhi Leonard not only hits the game winner over Embiid in the crowd, but falls back into his own bench and has the reaction that we've never seen before? What were your thoughts?
So, as a lifelong Raptors fan, I actually did watch the Game 7 shot in 2001 with Vince. And
wow.
Honestly, I was just the whole time I was thinking about the Vince shot. And I was just hoping, I was like, man, I hope we get some sort of iconic moment right here. And we got it. It was crazy. When it went up, when it bounced up, I knew it was going in.
Really?
The second it bounced up, it bounced straight up. And I just had a feeling. It just wasn't bouncing away. It was bouncing straight up. I honestly had a good feeling.
And you actually got to see both extremes. I mean, everybody's obviously seen the highlights of Vince Carter missing the shot, but you witnessed it live now, both occasions. The biggest miss of the Raptors franchise history and the biggest make of Raptors franchise history.
Polar opposites. I was 6 years old watching the miss. It broke my heart, and this was just full circle.
That is amazing. All right, we got a lot of callers, man, but thank you so much for that. That's a cool take.
All right, no problem.
All right, cheers. 3 callers left. We're getting into it. I don't know if I saved the good questions for last or not. Hey, it's Ryker from the Raptors Digest. What's your name and where are you living?
Blaze Lepin from Winnipeg, Manitoba. What's going on, boys?
How you doing?
Good, man.
All right, I got some quick questions for you. We're giving everybody only about 30 to 45 seconds. We got so many calls. My question for you, if you were Nick Nurse, how would you change the rotations to adjust for the Bucks? Obviously, it's going to be a completely different series.
Oh, that's a tough one. I think we're going to come in slow, so I think it's going to have to be game by game. Honestly, you're going to have to see which players are showing up and play accordingly. I think that's a tough question to ask for overall.
Then how would you say the Bucks are different than the 76ers at least? Like, what do you expect sort of the differences in the matchups to be?
I think that they're going to be a lot more defensive in the paint.
Yeah.
I know, once again, it's a tough series.
So the key is then 3-point shooting, in your opinion?
3-point shooting, definitely. Yeah, we just have to start hitting our shots.
And will it happen? Because obviously we've been holding our breath for an entire series, and the Raptors really haven't performed from behind the perimeter. Are they able to bounce back? I'm questioning that every day as well.
Yeah, of course. Well, it's tough, especially as a Raptors fan. You see, especially last game, you got so many open looks as well in the Game 5 as well. So hopefully you start hitting it like it's a game of numbers, right? We're shooting great during the season, so hopefully they show up.
That's exactly it. Team. And we're down to the last second, so thank you so much for being with us, man. Cheers.
Of course. Yeah, cheers, guys.
I live in Canada, in Israel.
Canada. What's your name?
Sam.
Sam, nice to meet you, Sam. Nice to talk to you. We're giving everybody a few seconds to sound off on their own hot takes. My question to you is, should the Raptors be worried about not having home court advantage in the series against the Bucks?
Definitely.
They should be worried?
Definitely.
So do you think they'll win against the Milwaukee Bucks, or do you think that they're going to lose?
Well, let's hope we win, but Giannis and everybody else on the Milwaukee Bucks are really good.
What would it take for the Toronto Raptors to win?
I'm not sure. A lot, though. Take a lot of dedication.
Would Kawhi Leonard have to be better than what he performed as in the 76ers series?
Kawhi Leonard played insane. He played really good.
All right, so you're predicting that the Raptors, they could win, but it's going to be a difficult series, is what you're saying.
Exactly.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much. We have so many calls. Thank you. And,
okay, thank you.
But it's great that you've been on the... Yeah, cheers, man. He hung up before I hung up. All right, I think we're down to the last one. One take left. We might stay under 30 minutes. But unfortunately, we're missing a lot of our international people. We had a lot of people I know from... I'll have to go through it after. Shouts out to everybody from around the world. I know we had England. I think it was somewhere that started with a B, Bahamas or something. Obviously, Pakistan and different countries. Like, there's a lot of really good representation around the entire world of Toronto Raptors fans, and it is super inspiring or empowering, I guess, just to show how sports is really able to rally an entire nation, an entire world of just people that are interested in the same thing. And we're able to band together and call on the phone, talk on Instagram, have these sorts of discussions over something that's really insignificant. It doesn't matter if the Toronto Raptors win or if they lose or if Kawhi Leonard makes this big shot, but it matters so much for everybody that's passionate about it. And I've been able to make and meet so many people from everywhere now doing this, and it is super cool and super rewarding to do that. So we'll swing into the last caller that I have here on the list. Like I said, I apologize to the people I wasn't able to get to today, and also I phoned probably 5 or 6 that didn't answer, and also long distance, I guess, sometimes didn't work out, even though I got some States callers. It was kind of weird how it worked out, but if this goes over well with everybody listening, I certainly had fun. Then I'd love to do it again, and it's, like I said, very fun for me. And we got our last guy coming on here now. Hello?
Your call has been forwarded.
Oh, shoot. Straight to voicemail. What an anticlimactic way to finish it up. Actually, I'll pause the podcast. I know I have one guy that wanted me to call him over WhatsApp, so I'll do that now. Hopefully this works out. WhatsApp call. Special request to get on the WhatsApp because I know he's from America. An answer? Hello? Hey, it's Ryker from the Raptors Digest. You're the last caller. We're approaching 30 minutes of this call-in session. What's your name and where are you living?
My name is Gufran, and I live in Easton, Pennsylvania.
In Pennsylvania?
Yeah, I know it's crazy because it's basically Philadelphia.
Yep.
Right. It's nearby. It's like an hour away, and everybody here is like a Philly fan.
This is an incredible person to finish off on here. Why the heck are you a Toronto Raptors fan, and what kind of heat did you take supporting the Raptors in this series?
Yeah, it was crazy. So I'm actually from Toronto.
Okay.
And like I've kind of lived like all over the world basically. And like wherever I am, I'm always like supporting Toronto and like supporting the Raptors since day one.
Wow.
So I've lived in Saudi Arabia before, and like over there I had to like watch games at 4 o'clock, but I would every time as much as I could, considering I would have school at 7 a.m.
Wow.
But,
yeah.
You know,
I was just saying how much there's fans from all around the world, fans that I wasn't able to get on the line today because obviously international time differences and stuff. Yeah. But this is crazy. The 76ers have one of the most intense fan bases in the entire National League. Yeah. So that is crazy I
got flamed at school every day. Like, so when the Raptors lost, I think it was Game 3. That we were down 2-1, and everybody at school that I knew was like, yo, the Raptors choked. Yo, Kyle Lowry choked that he doesn't show up. I'm like, all right, I believe in Toronto. I believe on the Raptors. And I gave it some time, and when Kawhi hit that shot, oh my God, everybody that I knew came up to me at school, like I think it was today, right?
Yeah.
And everybody came up to me and they were like, what the hell just happened? They were speechless. And a lot of people were like, "Oh, I was just lucky," but some people genuinely were like, "You know what? I think I'm going to support Toronto now. I think that's my team going forward." I was like, "Damn, Kawhi really won us."
That is so funny, man. All right. We're finishing up the podcast here, giving everybody about 30 seconds, and it's interesting to hear, sort of your story. That's pretty cool. But we're going to finish off the podcast on the most motivational way possible. A lifelong Toronto Raptors fan, you've been following the league around no matter what country in the world that you've been in. Yeah. What did that shot mean to you, man? What was your immediate reaction? What did you feel?
It meant everything. I was watching the game live, and I'm looking at it, and I'm texting on this group chat with my friends, and we're all like, "Oh my God, Kawhi missed that free throw, right?" And Jimmy Butler gets those 2 points, and now we're like, "All right, what's going to happen?" 4 seconds left, and he hits that shot, and I couldn't believe it, because I'm not saying DeRozan was bad. DeRozan was my favorite player, and he still is to date, but there has never been a player on the Raptors that has been more clutch than Kawhi, and that's hands down. And it's kind of amazing to feel that way, because now you know how fans from like the Warriors feel like. You know how the fans from like teams like the Lakers feel like.
Yeah.
So it's
euphoric. I describe it as euphoric, out of body, sensational. It's crazy. We're about finished up here, man. Thank you so much from Pennsylvania, a 76ers not fan. He's an infiltrating. He's a rogue agent. He's in there trying to get on the inside and convert all the fans to Raptors fans. I love him, man.
I have been.
That's
I
it.
I've actually have been.
Thank you so much for calling in, man. Cheers.
Thanks for having me.
Cheers.
Appreciate it.
Okay, and that about concludes it for me.